Hey guys, welcome back. I have a decent update to share with you guys. I know I gave up on Spooktober, or it's been a while since I actually updated it, but recently over my last paint session, I managed to paint about 6 or 7 undead miniatures, and those are the ones you're going to see in this video. I'm extremely happy to share them with you, as there's a lot of variety and color combinations that I will be using in the future. The first 3 models I want to share with you guys are the Ghouls from Citadel. There's a variety of them. 2 of them come from the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons line from 1985, and the other one comes from the Night Horror range. That's the one I'll be focusing on first. The color I chose with this model was more of a green undertone. So all the ghouls I have, I put a kind of pastel color and used flesh tones to highlight it up, leaving that color in the shadows. And for this night horror, I love the pose he has, very menacing. A lot of detail they managed to get onto the sculpt, and you can see it right now too. I think, in my opinion, these are what the ghouls should look like. The current plastics, in my opinion, don't do them justice. Moving along, this is the first Advanced Dungeon & Dragon Ghoul. I went for more of a blue undertone, and I just love this feral, crawling pose he has, especially with the face. It's such a simple sculpt, but there's so much character in these miniatures. And for me personally, if I ran a ghoul army, I'd have to hunt down most likely 80 more of these sculpts, which most likely won't be happening as they are fairly pricey on the secondhand market. This last ghoul is very goofy because his eyes don't actually have they're not fully formed, so the sculptors left the pupil actually indented. So when you highlight it, all you can do is highlight the edge of it. So he looks wide-eyed, a bit confused, but more focusing on the pose, very odd. It looks like he's dancing a bit, but again, for me, it fits that Oldhammer charm that I really do enjoy. So I will be using these miniatures for, of course, my Vampire Count army for the Old World, but also a ton of skirmish games, such as Otherworld Fantasy and even games of Call of Cthulhu. So up next is the Talisman Ghoul. Moving along to the Talisman Ghoul, I love the artwork. He looks so cute and freaky hiding behind the tombstone, and I believe the miniature does fairly represent the artwork faithfully. Now in game, he's quite powerful as he can raise monsters he's killed throughout the game. They will act as a follower, but once you use them, the next turn they crumble away. So one day I will go into a lot more detail about Talisman, the game itself, but let's focus onto the miniature. He is very strange when it comes to ghouls, as he is almost fully clothed, which is quite odd when you put him next to the other Oldhammer ghoul miniatures. Because of that, I'm fairly sure I'm going to use him as a unit champion or a character like a Strigoi Ghoul King. But on the flip side, he's very scrawny, that's the dilemma we run into. Painting wise, very straightforward. I went for more of a very sepia-ish skin tone, following the artwork, of course. So when you put him next to my other ghouls, he does stand out quite a bit. The next miniature will be the White. Onto the Undead White from Citadel's Advanced Dungeon & Dragon range of miniatures. This model is fantastic. You've seen him before in the first reveal of my Spooktober project. He is one of, I believe, 8 or 9 different versions of this model, and this one is probably my favorite, as his face has a lot more of a skeletal, feral look to it. The model is simply beautiful. He has a ton of detail, a ton of scratches, guts hanging out. He does fit the bill perfectly, and in some cases, in certain games, I might even count him as like a vampire or a Strigoi Ghoul King. For the colors, I went for more of a purple undertone, followed by the green cape and then the iconic white strands of hair he has. I do have a spare one, so I will be doing a full tutorial, as again, I didn't know how all of the models would turn out when I was painting them. Now I know that everything works, I will 100% be making guides. So up next are the 2 Direwolves. Moving along to the last 2 models would be the 2 Citadel Direwolves. These originally were for the Goblin Wolf Riders. However, I don't actually run Wolf Riders, and I used the Riders for conversions in the past, but these wolves are, in my opinion, some of the best Citadels sculpted. Very small, but very simple, and I love the fur texture. So for this wolf, I went for more of a black color scheme. Now, my camera is making it very striking. It is white, but there are also shades of blue over the black. So the camera kind of washes this out, but in person, it does have a nice transition. But for the second wolf, I decided to go for a very different look. He looks almost like a fox, but that's not necessarily bad. But I do like the face they have, and if possible, I would hunt a couple more. Again, on the secondhand market, these guys somehow are quite expensive. I don't understand why, it's just a wolf model. But I will be using these in games of the old world as my Direwolves or other skirmish games. Well, there you guys have it. That is the painting update for Spooktober after such a long time of no painting updates. And I'm fairly excited with how everything turned out, as I can use all of these color recipes to share more painting guides with you guys. Look forward to some skirmish games coming up in the next week or 2. And like always, guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. I really have been appreciating everything. And again, tons and tons of more projects coming up to share with you.